So when you're trying to figure out how to make your weave look real, it's more important to figure out what not to do. So the first thing you don't want to do is get hair that is too shiny and won't match your hair. Typically, this is just any low-grade hair that looks shiny. It can be synthetic hair, or it can be human hair, or hair that claims to be human hair that's just overly shiny. And people might say, oh, just get anything that's yucky, because yucky texture is supposed to mean that it's going to mimic your hair, because it's going to have that texture to it. But no, not all hair that's labeled as yucky will actually match your hair, especially if it's cheaper hair. So if you want to get hair that will match your hair, you're going to have to spend a little bit more. But make sure that the hair that you get matches your hair, because that's the most important thing. Besides the texture matching, you also want the color to be an exact match. So if you have never dyed your hair, chances are you are the color 1B, which is off black. Color 1 is just straight up black. No one's natural hair color is just black. So don't buy number 1s because you think your hair is black if you haven't dyed it. And also know that hair colors differ from brand to brand. So Bobbi Boss 1B might not be the same as Milky Way 1B, which are two different brands. So you actually have to look at the hair color itself. Even though I am 1B, not all 1Bs might match my hair. Most of the time, I just dye my hair jet black and get a number 1. So I'm ensured that the color will be exactly the same. Because it might look the same indoors with not that much lighting, but out in out in sunlight, you might be able to tell the difference. So I like to avoid that by just getting color number 1 and dyeing my hair black. Other than that, you might say, oh, I'm natural and it's really hard for me to get my hair to blend even with hair texture that isn't too overly shiny, but hair like this still doesn't look like your natural hair, and especially if you have short natural hair. So I can understand that will be tough, but you're going to have to flat iron it to get it to match. If you are worried about putting heat on it every day, which you shouldn't do, you should wrap it up at night and make sure it's laying flat so you don't have to keep on putting heat on it every day. And if you still find that is a lot of trouble, because I know it can be trouble for people who are natural and trying to blend their hair with weaves. I'm relaxed, so I don't have to go through that much. But there are other options. You can go with hair that is more than just like yucky or a little bit texturized, because even like virgin hair, it's just regular. It doesn't have that much texture that you need, but they do sell other textures that are more, like if you're wanting to stick to the beauty supply store, they have coarse yucky. If you don't, have kinky straight hair. And kinky straight hair is something like this. It still has that straightness to it. It basically looks like your hair blow dried or my relaxed hair just air dried. So it's easier to match hairs with hair like this. So you don't always have to go the silky way if you want longer hair. You just can get longer lengths of this. Just look for kinky straight hair. They have really good synthetic hair, really cheap synthetic hair that you can just use for not an extended period of time, of course, but they do have textures out there like this. So you can match your hair with this if you are worried about that. Another thing that you want to avoid is a bad installation. A bad installation can make even the best hair and the best leave out that matches the hair look horrible. And that happens if you just go to someone that isn't a very good trusted person, or you try to get like your mom or yourself to do it and you don't really know exactly how to do it. You can do it yourself. I do it myself. I've always done my hair myself, but I just take my time to do it, and I use a mirror in the back to make sure that whenever I lay each track, I can't see the one before it. So tracks showing in the back is obviously a big giveaway that the hair isn't yours. So that's very important that you have a good installation that completely covers the tracks, and not too much leave out, but enough leave out to cover up the tracks at the top. If you have too much leave out, it'll be hard to get to match. If you don't have enough, it'll be hard to cover. So you just have to be the judge of that depending on how thick or thin your hair is. Leave out only enough to cover the tracks and no more. As long as you don't have problems with it matting up, which is also a big giveaway for weaves, is whenever the hair is just matted and looks like a bird's nest. As long as you have good hair that doesn't do that, and you've gone through the process of getting a good installation, and you're taking care of your leave out, keeping it straight to match it, or going with the other options that don't force you to keep your hair straight. As long as you're doing these things, your hair should look natural. And some of you might say, oh, well, I have really short hair. Even if I straighten it, even if it's relaxed, it's hard to get it to match. But even if you don't have long enough hair that just blends perfectly, there are other things you can do. You can just do different styles. You can do like twists and things like that to keep your leave out matching and blend it in. You don't have to always wear it down like this. You can style it, do braids, do twists, do anything up here to match your leave out with the rest of the hair. So I hope that helped. If you are still having problems with trying to make your weave look natural, ask me questions, I'll answer them down below. Overall, it's simple once you get used to it, just learning how to pick out the right hair and knowing how to keep your hair matching the other hair, and you're good.